came in and just brought a lot. I'm just thinking that they brought the era of what we was a part of on the freeway crew, the white powder thing, right? Not knowing as we got older that there was other
Right.
elements that they brought to the community to destroy, to genocide us. And when I met you today, it was interesting that what you were
Yes.
saying, we all know about the different stages where people go through and stuff like that. But for me to meet a black man, and where I come from, um, and I used to be the top of the stereotype. I was one of them dudes in the 60s and 70s. We saw somebody that was twisted. We beat them up. That's you know what I'm saying? Like you were saying, and it's like, damn, like, and listening to your story, man, kind of, it woke me up. I'm 60 years old. So to hear the facts and what you went through, you as, I'm just going to say, as a black man in this community, up against all this. And it wasn't even about what you was up against in the streets. It was about what you was up against at home. You know what I mean? That was your biggest problem. And I commend you for being a strong person that you are to even open up to the world to tell your truth about yourself. You know what I
Thank
mean?
you.
I commend you for that. And one of my main questions is, as you was like you were saying, how old were you, and it took for you to really realize that I look at it, our mothers and fathers is never wrong. They always, no matter if they wrong, they right. You get what I'm saying? So how was you able to
Right.
bypass that law? And I know did you still love your mother no matter what unconditionally?
I did.
You get what I'm saying?
I did.
So you had a heart for
I
two
did.
people. So even though you're saying you found out you was two people, you had a heart for two people. You walking around with a heart like two people inside of you. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Absolutely.
And the things that you went through, what was the biggest? Did you hate anybody during this?
Just to be honest, just transparent as all outdoors. I hated my father because I had it kind of twisted because I thought that he was just beating my mother. And if he would have been there, things might have been easier for us. But I thought that the stories that I heard from him are about him, that he was really like a real bad dude. Like, but he was in the military, right?
Yeah.
And I do remember him whooping us, and beating us, and we had to eat under the bed, because if he seen us, then he would beat on us, and beat my mother, right? So I was initially angry at him, but my mom, I hated my mom because she never told me nothing. She didn't reach out to me and make me understand what was really at hand, really what was at stake. You know how a mother would normally be like, "Y'all come over here, cause them people over there are bad."
Mm-hmm.
You know, so she didn't give me that. She didn't give me what was going on internally. She had me confused. The reason, I mean, I love my mom now,
Yeah, for sure.
but I had to come to understand it. The reason that I hated my mother at the time, because she beat the man, she beat me so bad, it was torturistic. And my family too, my brother, my siblings too. She gave no love, no understanding. So she couldn't. You didn't go and she, come here, baby, I love you. It wasn't none of that. We were all wolves. She raised all wolves, you know, and so she didn't bring us into the knowledge of being together and showing us that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, and so I was angry with her for that. I felt like she was selfish because she had other agendas and other things that, you know, she was that was tasked out on, you know, like rent, you know, like keeping a roof over our head. And see, I as a kid, you don't understand those things because you don't see it from her eyes,
Right.
you know. And so she was a single mom raising 8 kids. See, that's what I learned later, you know. And so she was stressed out. She didn't have no help.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you know, it was mission critical, and everything was worth a beating for her at that time. You know, so by her not doing those things and keeping us in the loop, we didn't have any understanding why we was getting toe out like that, right?
Right.
As she got older, you know, I could see, you know, and that's why, really, honestly, before my mom passed, you know, I had the opportunity to, you know, talk to her and get an understanding,
Right.
you know, and I don't hate her because I realized that how tough it was for a black woman to raise 8 kids with no man and no kind of help.
Damn.
You know, all she had was the government to, you know, as assistance. So, you know, the government was always trickeration. You know what I mean? So, you know, she was trying to hustle the best way she could for us.
Right.
You know, and I see that now. But at the time, you know, I couldn't understand it because, you know, because being in between that rock and that hard place, and it was truly a rock and a hard place. Here I am in the middle, not getting no answer, not getting no love from them, and not getting no love from this side, and but I'm trying to exist. So yeah, I did hate my mom, you know, until I you know, so I'm higher learning.
Yes.
I'm really a higher learning person. So, you know, I gathered that, and that's what I talked to my siblings about, like, cause they, you know, they were kind of stuck, thinking like, why we got beat like that.
So that was a question. That was a question I wanted to ask you. What was your brothers and sisters thinking at this time? What you was going through? I mean, you get what I'm saying? Like you said, your sister had to do what your mother told her to do, as far as putting that rubber band around your swipe to try to make it fall off. You know what I'm saying? And it's like she probably really didn't want to do that, but she didn't want to get her ass beat.
Right.
It was 6 more kids. So how was they like? Were you in the middle? Were you the oldest? Were you the youngest? Or you the only boy? You get what I'm saying?
So I had 3 brothers, right? And 4 other sisters. I was considered a girl at that time, so I was the fifth sister. You know, and so they, you know, it was. I look at us like we were all trying to just survive.
Yeah.
You know, and have fun the best way. We was kids, so you know what I'm saying. We had cruel games that we played with each other. You know, cruel, like, you know, burning each other with you know, metal stuff.
Yeah. The iron,
You know,
putting the iron, the hanger on the fire, putting it down so somebody can touch it.
yeah,
Yeah, that type of shit.
yeah. We used to take this a whole bunch of socks and put it in one sock and wet it. You know what I'm saying? And we used to beat each other with it. um, hey, them socks hurt too.
Yeah, that's some jailhouse shit.
Yeah, that was.
Jailhouse just got the locks in it. Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Like, damn, y'all was doing that early, like way before that shit. Like, you know.
Yeah, that was our toys. You know what I'm saying?
So you know, I can see you had a big family, but no matter what you was going through, it looked like your family stuck together. Like, you know, no matter what, you know, nobody really, they didn't really judge you from your family. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Nah, but what it was like, it ended up making us all individual wolves. And we didn't come together unless it was a big fight.
Damn.
You know, that we had to fight another family. You know, we would have our little fun with each other, doing experiments on each other when you go to sleep at night. You know what I'm saying? And
The toothpaste.
burning
Hey,
each
the
other.
toothpaste on the hand. Wake up.
Oh man, I can tell you some stuff that I sold my sister fingers in her hair. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. It was not. You didn't want to go to sleep in my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
it
nigga
was
burnt
pretty
out,
bad.
man. That
Yeah,
nigga
that's
burnt all the way out,
what.
homie. This nigga burned all the way out, homie. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
Hey, homie, won't you tell him about your brother, though, how he was putting hands on you, though, man? You know what I'm saying? How he was, I mean, and this is your brother that, that you just really couldn't get away from either. You know what I mean?
Right. So, all right. So the backstory on that is that my brother, the story goes like this. My father beat my brother in the head with a frying pan, right? To the point where it made
soft.
his
Yeah.
skull soft, right? And so he had mental problems, right? And so he was always, but my brother hated my mom because she wasn't there for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Oh, I'm right here.
and so from that, my brother was really, really, really angry all the time. So he would be in and out of jail all the time. Like back then they had like these camps that they would send him to. Like it was one called Camp Mendenhall. I never forget that one. You know what I'm saying? So he would be up there. I remember when we used to go up there, it'd be snowing. You know, and he was up there. That's where my brother was, right? So, he was in and out of jail. He started smoking that Waylock, that gorilla.
That whack. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. And so now when he would come home, one time he took the Thanksgiving turkey and bust all the windows out the house with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It took like 5 laws to, subdue him. But the most important thing is that, sometime like he'd be in the house and, he'd just get out of jail and if you had, like I had a radio stereo set and he didn't care, he'd just crank it up like he finna bust the speakers, right? And you know what I'm saying? And if you want him to stop, then he'd jump on you. You know what I'm saying? So you remember like in jail when he was one of them that when they flexing and all that and you know what I'm saying? He was like 6'2". You know what I'm saying? Swole, super, right? And when he would come home, he would jump on us. One time he like, we used to bag on each other. Remember?
The
Bag
bag.
on each
That was
other,
our
right?
shit. That was it.
Yeah. So we was in there. He initiated it, and so we was bagging, and he kept. I was like, no, I don't want to bag no more. I don't want to do that. And so he had said something else, fat pig or whatever he called me, and I was like, you a jailbird, and that made him switch, right? This man.
That nigga clicked on your ass, huh? 5150 your ass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's crazy though when you think about that shit, though, homie. You know what I mean? That's really, really way out.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? Because this is your family, man. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like, niggas on the street. This is your family, homie.
Yeah.
It's like you was getting it from both ends.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? That's the part. You couldn't even go home and rest your neck, homie. You know what I'm saying? That's the part that's killing me right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then, once you do get out in the streets, the homies is on you. They putting boots on you. You know what I'm saying? And motherfuckers don't understand. Motherfuckers really don't understand that culture. You know what I'm saying? Because, they wasn't raised with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when you tell your story to certain motherfuckers that don't know what's going on, they don't really
Understand.
see. They really don't understand what we understand. You know
I
what I'm
do.
saying?
I do.
Yeah, for sure, homie, for sure. You know what I'm saying? Because motherfuckers, like you said, motherfuckers was beating niggas down when they found out some
Man.
motherfuckers was gay or shit like that. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A motherfucker was in that closet and we found out about it.
You got
It
your
was
ass
El
whooped.
Rapo.
Yes.
It was El Rapo. You know what I'm saying?
So
Nigga,
So
the era.
Rode off in them bushes.
Yeah. So the era, brother, that I'm like you
So-
got me going backwards, like way back to the few, to the present, like the past, because I can just imagine. I can't even imagine a young brother in the hood. It was a lot of gangsterism going on at that time in the 80s. You know what I mean? Everybody was getting turned out. If you wasn't about the game, you was a straight up square. Either you're gonna be with the street or you're gonna be at home. Wasn't no have 1 foot in, 1 foot out in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? If you was about it or you wasn't about it. But you still was respected if you wasn't about it. And nobody never just, we helped each other back then. And supported each other back then. And for you to be going through what you was going through back then, what was your biggest, how was your grades in school? That's what I want to know. Did you graduate? Did you finish school? You know what I mean? You saying you did all this missing school, sleeping on top of the roof at the schools. I mean, I can't even, how old were you when you had to sleep like on top of a roof to hide? What made you feel you was safer on top of a roof at a high school than then going home?
see, so let me wrap up one thing. So first, I'm gonna get to that.
Okay.
Hold on. So one thing. So I want to finish this up. So the day that I called my brother a jailbird, right? That made him mad, right? So he jumped up and he started beating me in the face, right? He was beating me. Now my brother's 6'2". At the time, I think I was probably still at 5'2". Right? He beat me, right? So I turned my face to the door, so not look at him in his face, and he still keep beating me, and calling me bitches and all that, and beat me bad, right? So he wasn't done, so he told me, bitch, get in there and wash them dishes. And then he wasn't through, so while I was washing the dishes, he started trying to drown me in the sink and beat me, right? And so it was a window there, so I crawled out the window, right? And so because he was drowning me, so my feet, I took my feet and I got him up into the sink, and I climbed out the window and I ran up to the school, because it was only a block away.
Right.
And so I went and hid under the bleachers. And when he went by me, I seen him with a knife, and so I ran into the gym where my coach was, and my coach had seen how bad my face was beat, and he just told me to come and get behind him, and told me that he wasn't gonna let him hit me no more, right? So, and that's not the only time my brother beat us like that. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy like that. So, now you want to know what my grades was? My grades was failing. My grades, I was failing. I didn't want to, I was ditching school. I was trying to get away.
Yeah.
But I was very smart though. The things that I had to do and learn, even when I was like 11th, 12th grade, that's when, my mother was really like throwing me out and stuff like that. From that point until like I was, like 16, 17.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I would go and so it made me learn life different from anybody else. It made me have survival skills and think on my feet in a way that no one else was able to do. How was I supposed to know that was the safest space where that somebody wouldn't come and creep up on me and look for me?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I thought that out of survival. I'm saying? I was very ahead of my time in thinking. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I survived. From capers that was going down, pew pews that was going down, I learned how to see it coming and go in that direction, or hide up there, or hide in the trenches. You know what I'm saying? When like say for instance, I was coming home one day from school, and dude was walking down the street with a big he was walking down the street, but the guy was on like a 10-speed, you know, with a big trash bag, right? He jumped off the trash bag and, you know, dude. So I got in between the car, the tire, and the curve. You know what I'm saying? Right in that cut. You know what I mean? And to avoid that. It was just, my senses became so hyper aware of how to escape, where to go, what to do, lickety split quick. You know what I mean? And that was my life.
Damn. So, can I ask, what age did you become a member from the streets? Like, when did you join like a? What made you do that? You felt you needed protection from that, but you already had a big family. You feel what I'm saying? And I remember, but this is what I remember. Back in the day, and I tell people, the people that had the big families actually was the starting of the gangs, because I didn't have a big family, so if I knew you had 8 brothers in a big family, I'm finna come hang out with y'all. You feel what I'm saying? I'm finna come hang out with the people that got a lot of people in their family, because I only had 2. It was only me and my brother. My brother wasn't no street person, not from the early days of nothing. So this is where I used to tell people that we used to go with the big families where they was at. That's where the gangs really started from, because the Johnsons had 20 damn kids in their family. You know, nobody fuck with the Johnsons. So what made your family, even though you was like what you were, then a lot of people knew that, right? In your neighborhood. Did they know that what you was going through as a kid? No?
Nah, they didn't know. You know what I'm saying? All they knew was I was like I ain't gonna say a weirdo, but I was somebody that, you know what I'm saying, like, they didn't want to fuck with. You know what I'm saying? Like, they seen me beat up people. Because, yeah, I got my ass whooped, but I did some ass whooping too.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why it didn't take one person to whoop me. It took 3 and 4, and you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I learned how to get at it. You know what I mean? But, so, I was always around gangs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the thing is that I was trying to be an athlete too, like you.
So what did you play?
I played basketball. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is that my family was already affiliated. My brother that you know, that I was telling you, he was a member. My sister was a member. You know what I mean? And so me and my other sister, we was ball players, you know what I mean? And so as it got, I'm gonna say those were better times, you know. So my mother, she had her hand in there too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll give you an example.
I got what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, she would get them boys, you know, bail them out and use her, put her house, yeah, all that. You know what I'm saying? So I knew them. You know what I mean? And that's what kind of, you know, kept a somewhat of a halo at that time. That's when the beatings kind of ceased, right? So when my brother got unalived, you know, then I became the man of the family. You know what I'm saying? Because my other brother was always in and out of jail. He couldn't protect nothing. And then it was my little brother. So that's when, you know what I'm saying, I started turning to the life, you know, and left college alone and got with it.
You were playing ball in college?
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. Okay.
I got, yeah, I had got a scholarship. You know what I'm saying? But
What?
like I said, I was smart, but I couldn't use applied knowledge. I had to use applied street knowledge. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what it was. Yeah.
So about 30. Um. Damn. You know, man, this story is real deep. It's more than just one chapter of this. You know what I'm saying? It's
Absolutely.
like I don't really have questions because this is your story, and I don't, like I said, I'm very respectful to you as who you are. What you've been through and stuff like that. So I respect that factor right there. Um, like I said, damn. I always wanted to kind of interview someone from that, level of life, and I did not know I was going to run into a real brother that have accepted a lot of things that the usually persons hide behind the closed doors. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
So can I
you
ask,
know,
being that you said
sure.
you play basketball, and I'm hearing your story, you say you was, the Kotex thing. So what did you play? You got a scholarship for boys basketball, right?
Women's.
Okay. That's what you understand what I'm saying? So,
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, LA. Hey, excuse me, politic.
yes.
Hey, LA, but you had all this testosterone and you was playing against women? Man. So I know you were just down there roughhousing there.
I mean, I
Wait a minute.
didn't believe in my strength. I didn't. You know what I'm saying? Because
You
I was
had
trying
to
to be
believe
like
that if
them.
you was knocking them niggas out in the alley.
But I didn't want that to be who I